What do we do? Act up, fight back.
People with AIDS under attack.
What do we do? Act up, fight back.
We need this financial transaction tax.
We need this financial transaction tax.
Only $15 billion is available for global aid.
Only $15 million is available for global aid.
We need $24 billion.
We need $24 billion.
There's a huge gap. We need to fill this gap by making big business pay its fair share.
We need to fill this gap by making big business pay its fair share.
Tax Wall Street.
Tax Wall Street.
End AIDS.
End AIDS.
Tax Wall Street.
Tax Wall Street.
End AIDS.
End AIDS.
Tax Wall Street.
Tax Wall Street. End AIDS.
We've got over 46 drugs that are stuck in clinical development and commercialized biotechs. Each one of these requires $50 to $75 million in clinical research. We've gotten 24 drugs available for people with AIDS during the past 30 years of real serious development of HIV drugs. And we have millions and millions of people around the world who are fully drug resistant now. That's the nature of the virus. It develops resistance. This is a number of those drugs. Some of them have received significant federal funding, but not enough to bring them to the point where they can get approval by the FDA.
We can have a cure.
We could have a cure for HIV in the next 12 to 15 years through gene therapy, cell therapy,
Therapeutic vaccines.
There's a number of new drugs that are in development from previous classes of antiviral activity, which could save the United States hundreds of millions of dollars in more expenditures in health care for people who are fully drug resistant. 22% of people with AIDS around the country are fully drug resistant. That number's growing every day.
More in PEPFAR.
The government has invested $50 billion into PEPFAR around the world, and we have almost a quarter of those patients drug resistant. The solution is expediting drug development through new investments, and that money could come from a very, very tiny taxation on all transactions on Wall Street, which would actually help Wall Street, because then you would have greater performance in the biotech industry. Every HIV drug we've ever had approved received federal facilitation.
People making money on stocks again.
So the reality of it comes down to, by stimulating the biotech industry, we stimulate more drugs for people with AIDS through federal facilitation. It's a win-win-win.
And how can people get involved to support this?
You start taking a look at the new drugs that are in development. The ICAR conference just went down in Sapporo, Japan. We were both at that conference. There were dozens and dozens of new approaches to stopping HIV. Integrase inhibitors, cell therapies, new protease inhibitors, new nucleoside analogs. The research that's gone on HIV drug development has equated to hundreds of billions of dollars in corporate gains. It's time that Wall Street get into the game of biotech industry again through the federal facilitation of this research via a new minute tax that won't harm any of their earnings. So when you say tax, everybody freaks out. People start talking about class warfare and that nonsense. The reality is, if 42 new drugs could reach phase 3 development in the next 10 years, it would equate to tens of billions of dollars in equity performance. It just makes sense. And there's a bill going through Congress, the Small Biotech Innovation Preservation Program. This is old money that's been allocated, unspent. It's unspent and it's uncommitted. So we have $60 billion sitting out there in government agencies, our tax money, not being spent on these drugs. And the first act of demonstration was about getting drugs into the bodies of those who were sick. I know, I was there.
Even just a tiny, tiny tax on each transaction could fund pharmaceutical research to actually find a cure for AIDS, as opposed to just a long-term treatment plan that ends up making lots and lots of money for the pharmaceutical companies. HIV/AIDS is not separable from other socioeconomic axes of oppression, right? Like homelessness and drug abuse and various other ways in which somebody can find themselves in kind of a raw position in society. So if we get more housing, then we have better health outcomes.
ACT UP was formed 25 years ago to demand that New York City and the nation...
25 years ago!
New York City and the nation... put resources into helping people with AIDS.
Put resources into helping people with AIDS.
Access basic care and services.
Access basic care and services.
Today, housing works.
Today, housing works.
Is still fighting.
Is still fighting.
For the same demands.
For the same demands.
For people.
For people.
The right to housing.
The right to housing.
For people with HIV.
For people with HIV.
The right to treatment and care.
The right to treatment and care.
The right to prevention methods.
The right to prevention methods.
Like access to syringes and condoms.
Like access to syringes and condoms.
Housing works.
Housing works.
Born out of ACT UP.
Born out of ACT UP.
When we were founded.
When we were founded.
There were two important commitments made.
There were two important commitments made.
That people living with HIV/AIDS.
That people living with HIV/AIDS.
And people who experience homelessness.
And people who experience homelessness.
Would always be reflected on staff.
Would always be reflected on staff.
And in leadership in our organization.
And in leadership in our organization.
That no matter.
That no matter.
What direction our services took.
What direction our services took.
We would remain committed.
We would remain committed.
To grassroots civil disobedience.
To grassroots civil disobedience.
Direct action.
And direct action.
This movement is alive. The Occupy movement has been growing every day in our city, and only when we cut the gap, when we close the gap, that we divide our society. We keep fighting to close the gap, supporting our working class and middle class. Then this movement will be not in the city anymore. I'm calling on New York to keep supporting this Occupy movement. This is the movement of the working class and the middle class that is fed up, that is tired, that is saying the 1% can increase the level of contribution to the finance of our city. Estamos aquí porque el 1% puede contribuir mucho más para todos sectores, especialmente con personas que padecen del SIDA y necesitamos más recursos para ello.
We are the people. We are united. This occupation is not leaving.
We're pretty much out here to advocate for AIDS and people who are directly affected and indirectly affected. We out here with multiple organizations, ACT UP, Vocal New York, also OWS, and we're out here to make some noise and let Commissioner Dorr know that he needs to start addressing these issues with people that live with HIV and AIDS and provide better services and care.
What do we do?